Okay, so I'm here with my mom, Jen, who is pregnant. She's 34 weeks pregnant, so you are 3 weeks away from having a baby, right? You're pretty soon.
Yeah.
Expecting that. She is in her third trimester, which means she is also in the fetal period, which is from 9 weeks all the way up to birth. Prenatal development, personally, in your experience, and kind of go over the protocol that like the doctors went over with you and going through your prenatal development through the pregnancy. Now, most of these questions are going to be based off of your current pregnancy. You've had 9 previous, this is your 9th pregnancy, correct? So even though most of the questions are going to be pertaining to this pregnancy, I'm also going to ask you questions referring to your past pregnancies to kind of compare the differences along the way. So first off, did you have, or what type of major worries did you have during this pregnancy, if any?
I didn't have any worries at all during this pregnancy.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear. Now, in earlier pregnancies, were there any concerns, original concerns that you had going into the pregnancies?
When I was pregnant with you, they discovered through an ultrasound there were cysts in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a little bit of a concern.
Okay. They found out that those were benign, so
They
went
were
away.
benign, and yeah.
So other than that, nothing, no
Nope.
other problems or worries.
Healthy and easy.
Well, that's good. So moving on to the next question, what are major procedures that you had during the germinal period? So any 3 to 8 weeks, if you had any.
Okay, so 3 to 8 weeks, I had I had the blood test to confirm pregnancy. That was pretty early on. I think that was it. Well, at 8 weeks, I probably had my first ultrasound, right around 8 to 10 weeks.
Okay,
yeah.
so in that period, you had blood testing to confirm your pregnancy, and with that, when it was confirmed, did the doctors? I assume you went through kind of like a normal checkup then. They probably got your blood pressure and everything like that to make sure the vitals and everything were good. Did they give you any suggestions for diet or any health suggestions like that?
Just start prenatal vitamins and
Okay.
Folic acid supplement.
Do you take those?
Well, I did for a while, and then during the period where I had morning sickness, I kind of forgot, and then it's more sporadic now. If I remember, I take them.
And did they seem to make morning sickness worse, or you just okay?
That's why I stopped.
So that's pretty much why you stopped then. Okay. And then I'm sure that they also told you, obvious things like don't smoke and don't drink during your pregnancy.
Yeah.
Things like that. Now, so since you've been through, this is your 9th pregnancy, did they kind of, expect you to kind of already know that and don't preach as much as they used to about diet and about not smoking and not drinking? They're kind of like, oh, I bet you know more than me on that.
Yeah, that's pretty much the attitude.
Yeah.
They give you the typical advice, but they don't give you too much. They expect you to know it by now.
Okay. So in earlier pregnancies, did they give you more strict rules to follow?
Yeah, they probably told me. I remember earlier pregnancies when I was younger. They would just say, don't eat too much salt in your diet. Cut back on lunch meats and cheeses if you're eating a lot of that. Those kind of things.
So about drinking. So according to the American Pregnancy Association, some doctors think that it is okay for women that are pregnant to have a drink a night, like a glass of wine. They said something small like that, as long as it's not excessive drinking, is okay. Did your doctor, was your doctor one of those doctors that said that would be all right? No.
No, I wish. No doctors have ever told me that would be okay. Like, don't drink, don't smoke, Yeah.
Okay. What procedures did you have done before birth in your in fetal period, so 9 weeks all the way up to birth?
Okay, so
for this pregnancy so far.
For this one.
Yeah.
Well, because of my advanced maternal age, they do a early screening to rule out Down syndrome or spina bifida and any other like genetic problems. They do blood testing for that and ultrasound.
Okay, so genetic screening they do for that.
Yeah.
So according to the Milo Foundation of Medical Education and Research, trisomy 21, also known as Down syndrome, the chances of getting your child getting that increases tremendously once you hit the age of 35.
Right.
In addition, the reason why 35 is such a big number because once you hit 35, the chance of your child having trisomy 21 is actually higher risk than having an amniocentesis, the risk of harming the baby during the amniocentesis. So that's why 35 is such an important number. Now that you are older than 35, did they have any like special inclination to have a amniocentesis or anything like that?
They kind of warned me that they could recommend it if the results of the blood test and the ultrasound had any questionable things that they were concerned about. Then they said they would recommend that. But when my results came back, everything looked good, and so it wasn't recommended.
Oh, okay. And if they were to do it, just a fun fact, when they do an amniocentesis, what they do is they pull the fluid out of the amniotic sac, correct? And then what they do is they test that fluid, and they do what's called a karyotype. So they set up the chromosomes in order of size, and then when they do that, then they can check. They match up all the chromosomes, and then they can check on chromosome 21 if there's a third chromosome, trisomy 21, which is Down syndrome. So that's what they do with that. Now, ultrasounds. So you had, how many ultrasounds did you have during this pregnancy?
I believe 3. I had the early one, just that was at 8 weeks, and I went along with the blood test to determine pregnancy. Really didn't tell them a whole lot at that point. But then I had the second one, which was around 20, 25 weeks, and that was to determine anatomy. Okay. And then my most recent one was just in this trimester, in the past couple weeks, and that was to measure the amniotic fluid and the baby's growth and everything, and just make sure it looked good.
Okay. So earlier in your pregnancy, were there less concern about having Down syndrome and they do pretty much the same testing even though you're over the age of 35 as did your previous pregnancies?
Yes. Yeah, pretty much the same.
Okay.
I've had a few since 35, so they did all those tests with those, but before that, it was pretty much the same. They might have done one less ultrasound.
Okay. Right here we have your most recent ultrasound. Why did they do this one again?
This was to, there were a couple reasons. I forgot. They wanted to make sure she was head down.
Oh, okay.
And they also wanted to measure amniotic fluid and then just take some measurements of her and her growth.
Okay. And at this point, she was head down, correct?
She was. There was a little concern a few weeks ago that she wasn't, but yeah, she ended up being head down.
Okay. And if you want to come and you can look at this. At the ultrasound. Now they're not showing the fluid or anything here. They're just kind of taking glamour shots for the mom here to see. As you can see the baby's face, she's kind of shy. She's covering up her face right there. Yeah, but they don't really show. There's no need to for mom to look at the amniotic fluid.
Yeah,
so
it's kind of not something you really even know what they're pointing out with that.
All right, and then. So now, if you said the baby was facing down, that's correct. Now, if the baby was facing the wrong way, if she was still flipped up, what was the plan for the doctor?
So my doctor said there would be 2 options. They could try to manually turn her, which didn't sound like it would be fun, or they could do a C-section and schedule me for that. And then I said I would take that route if it came down to it.
And now you were kind of hoping it would be that. Right.
I kind of was. I haven't had a C-section, but I just thought it might be easier for planning. But it was a no. Right.
Yeah. And then you have one more procedure to do before you actually have the baby, correct?
Right.
And which one's that?
That is a blood glucose where they check to make sure I don't have gestational diabetes. I was supposed to have that done last week, but I'll have to have it done.
Okay.
Soon.
And gestational diabetes is that's just diabetes you have while the mother can have while you're pregnant, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that would go away after your pregnancy.
Yeah, that's my take on it. I'm
Right,
pretty
understand.
sure. They put you on like a special diet, I guess, to follow up in that case.
And did you ever have that happen in earlier pregnancies?
Well, I was told I had it, and I was put on a diet, and then I changed doctors for whatever reason, and the doctor that I changed to said that I didn't actually have it. So then they said, I could follow the diet or not, but it wasn't necessary.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good to hear. You're coming up soon on the due date.
Yeah. The due date is October 25th.
October 25th. Okay. Or do they plan on doing inducing?
Yeah, they're gonna induce me. She said probably at 37 weeks instead of 40. So
Okay.
I probably won't make it to the due date.
Did they give you a reason for that?
Just because of my advanced maternal age again.
Mhm.
It's just probably safer for the baby, for me. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. That's all the questions that I had for you. All right.
All right.